girls and boys, welcome to Coach Stadium for season number 20 of Barrie Baycats baseball. Tonight's Intercounty Baseball League game features the visiting Kitchener Panthers in year 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 IBL champion Barrie Baycats. Here are the starting lineups first for the Kitchener Panthers, managed by Don Menard. Leading up the left fielder, number 36, Blake Jacqueline. Batting second and center fielder, number 49, Andy Leader. Batting third at first base, number 34, Keegan Marsden. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 14, Riley Davenport. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 5, Stephen Whalen. Batting sixth at third base, number 53, Nick Parsons. Batting seventh and catching, number 21, Dan Mahoney. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 77, Drayden Sloat. And batting ninth, the second base, number 6, Evan Sherman. Pitching for the Panthers tonight, number 15, Stephen Gade. Our deciding lineups for your Barrie Baycats, managed by Josh Matlow. Leading out the right fielder, number 28, Avery Tuck. Batting second at second base, number 7, Royce Endo. Batting third, the center fielder, number 15, Jake Wilson. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 42, Jeff Callan. Batting fifth at third base, number 13, Marcel Lacasse. Batting sixth to shortstop, number 3, Carson Burns. Batting seventh to first base, number 34, James Anderson. Batting eighth to left field, number 14, David LeBlanc. And batting ninth and catching, number 44, Tyler Blunton. Pitching for your Baycats tonight, number 30, Juan Benitez. Here are the umpires for tonight's game, calling the balls and strikes. Mr. Adam DeCare. At first base, Mr. Jacob Goba. And at third base, Mr. Jared Markley. Fans, who please rise, kindly remove your caps for our national anthem.
Good evening and welcome to Coast Stadium in Springwater for game number 30 and home game number 15, the regular season finale for 2021 The Barrie Baycats take on the Kitchener Panthers. I'm Ben Davy, along with colorman Patrick Melbourne, and we have a great ball game tonight between two teams that have lots at stake as far as playoff positioning coming into tonight in the standings. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later on tonight, but it's been a good matchup this season between Kitchener and Barrie. Kitchener last beating Barrie 4-2 when these teams last met a couple of weeks ago.
And Barrie coming off a game that went really well for them. They had all the offensive things going right against the Welland Jackfish. Won 10-3 yesterday, and really the middle of the order did a super job. David LeBlanc, Carson Burns had 6 RBI, and LeBlanc had a couple of hits, 3 runs. So they'll be hoping to keep that offensive side rolling tonight with Juan Benitez, their ace on the hill.
And let's take a look at the Panthers lineup tonight. Blake Jacklin, the leadoff man in left field. Andy Leader in center, bats second. Keegan Marsden, first baseman, batting third. Riley Davenport is the DH and cleanup man. Stephen Whalen at shortstop, bats fifth. Nick Parsons batting sixth at third. Dan Mahoney, Drayden Sloat, and Evan Sherman, 7, 8, 9 for the Kitchener Panthers tonight to face Juan Benitez. And a big game for the Baycat ace hurler in his first season with the Barrie Baycats, and there's no question he has been the ace of this rotation so far this year.
4-2 this season with 3.10 ERA. Does really, really well when he establishes himself early. That's what Josh Matlow likes to see. He's really good in the first couple innings, but he gets really, really good down the line. So keeping the stamina up will be a key for him tonight. He has struck out 39. That's great in 55 innings. He has only walked 18. That's really good as well. Baycats hoping for another great performance from their their ace tonight.
Fifth and final regular season matchup for these clubs. Each team plays each other 5 times in this abbreviated 30-game schedule. Umpires tonight, Adam DeCare is at first base, Jacob Goba at first, and Jared Merkley, the third base umpire for tonight's game. Our first inning is sponsored by the Cage Barrie, Barrie's only indoor public batting cage. Blake Jacklin will step into the box. Juan Benitez with a tug of the cap and the pant leg. He looks in for the sign. And now time is called. He's got to get a baseball off the field in front of the Panther dugout. They take care of that. DeCare gives the cue. Benitez with a wind, and the first pitch of tonight's ball game. Fastball misses away, and we're underway at 7:04 tonight. Very comfortable evening, Patrick. We got a little bit of a breeze. This one from right to left and slightly in, and a comfortable 21 degrees. Up the middle, got past Benitez. It's into center field, and the Panthers get the leadoff man aboard here in the first.
You're right, Ben. Kind of a happy medium weather-wise. We've seen really hot games. It's not one of those we saw last game. It was actually really chilly, even to start off the game. It's not one of those either. It's really nice in the middle. Hopefully it doesn't get too chilly as we approach the middle and late innings of it.
Let's look at the defense for Barrie tonight behind Juan Benitez.
Let's do it. Left to right in the outfield, David LeBlanc, Jake Wilson, Avery Tuck. Pretty much what you're expecting from the Barrie Baycats at this point. In the infield, Darius Barlas comes in and plays third base today. Marcelo Casp today off. Carson Burns at short. Second baseman is Roy Sando in his second game back from injury. Over at first, James Anderson. Behind the plate, Tyler Plumpton for Juan Benitez.
Jacklin with the lead. He does not go, and Benitez with a strike. It's 1-1. Playing under complete cloud cover tonight, so no shadows on the field, and Environment Canada telling us there is a high probability of rain around 9 o'clock tonight, so hopefully this game has a good pace and we're able to get it in.
Yeah, it's felt like rain for a couple hours now, Ben.
High fly ball to center field. Jake Wilson hardly has to move. He takes it for the first out. 1 away for Keegan Marsden.
We'll see 4 pitches from Juan Benitez: fastball, slider, a changeup, and a splitter. Mostly the fastball and the slider as he gets into the game. Benitez is a guy where if the weather's cooler, his pitches seem to have a little bit more bite to them. Early on in the really humid games, he was leaving a few pitches too much inside the strike zone. But as it got cooler, they started having a little bit more life. So cooler conditions early in the game should benefit Juan.
Runner at first, 1 out. Foul to the backstop, and it's 0-1 to Marsden. Marsden, one of 4 Panthers who have played 20 or more games above the 300 mark in batting average, 342 coming into tonight's game. 23 games so far for Kitchener.
The top 3 guys in this batting order are the really powerful ones. And it makes sense if they're at the top because they want to get them as many at-bats as possible.
Jacklin is 6 for 7 in steal attempts this season.
Top of the batting order isn't just important for the start of the game. It's important because the guys at the top get more at-bats during it, which means you're going to see the best hitters in the 2, 3, and 4 spots, as well as the leadoff spot.
Benitez got ahead 0-2, missed on that pitch low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Keegan Marsden. Marsden 2 homers, 14 RBIs. Benitez from the stretch, runner leads, there he goes. The pitch fouled back to the screen.
Teams might not like to run too much on Tyler Plumpton. He's got a really good arm back there, and he's a good defensive catcher. Played extremely good defense yesterday against Welland. I watched that game, actually. We were commentating it on Baycats radio, and he saved the Baycats at least a couple of runs behind there.
1-2 the count, runner does not go, swing and a miss, strike 3. Foul tip into the glove. Down goes Marsden, and there's 2 away.
Wasn't as flashy a game offensively for Tyler Plumpton, but you saw it again right there. He's a really good catcher that I think the pitchers like working with an awful lot. And between the sacrifice he got yesterday and the defensive plays he made both at the plate and throwing to second base, really good catcher. And of course the day before that, big offensive game from Tyler Plumpton.
We haven't seen Benitez utilize the actual pickoff attempt a whole lot this season, but he does have a fairly quick delivery to home plate when he works from the stretch. Still has the high leg kick, but he comes down and he brings the ball in quickly.
You're right, and by the time the ball gets behind the batter into the glove of Tyler Plumpton, Plumpton's in decent position to be able to throw runners out. He might not get every single one with there's a fast runner based just on the delivery to home, but he'll have a chance most times.
Some pitchers remove the leg kick completely when working from the stretch. Benitez does not. Now, that was a shorter one.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's all about repeating the delivery, and some guys play with the timing. You're right, change up the leg kick. Just keeping it sustainable and hiding pitches is the main thing.
Goes off speed, and it's 2 balls and a strike. That pitch inside.
You feel like at some point in the IBL you're going to get a pitcher who just plays with the timing as much as some of the MLB pitchers do.
Runner goes, pitch is a called strike. Here's the throw, the tag, and it is in time! Blake Jacklin caught stealing to get the Baycats off the field in the top of the first. After half an inning, there's no score here at Coates Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV.
For Kitchener is first. No runners on 1 hit, no errors, no runners left on base. Inning number 1 is sponsored by the Cage Barrie. Barrie's only indoor public batting cages. The Cage Barrie. Attending or retrieving a game ball, leaving the field of play and returning it to the front gate will receive $2 upon return of the ball. Thank you, Pat.
Half an inning here at Coates Stadium in the books, and it's a scoreless tie between the Panthers and the Baycats. Let's look at the starting lineup for Josh Matlow and Barrie. Avery Tuck, the leadoff hitter again tonight in right field. Roy Sando, second base, bats second. Jake Wilson in center field in the number 3 spot tonight. Jeff Cowan, the DH, batting cleanup. David LeBlanc behind him in left field. Carson Burns at short, batting 6th. James Anderson, Tyler Plumpton, and Darius Barless will round out the order for the Baycats tonight to face Stephen Gade, 26-year-old Guelph native.
Stephen Gade, through 29 innings this year, he has 15 strikeouts. That's okay. 18 walks, that's higher than he wants it to be. He's 2-3 with a 6.51 ERA, so establishing early will be important for him. But the big thing for him, he's given up 7 home runs in 7 games. Started 5 of them. He needs to keep down the long ball.
Behind 2-0 to Avery Tuck.
And this is a team that can hit the long ball. We've seen it from Avery Tuck. We've seen it Jake Wilson a little bit. David LeBlanc's got power. Jeff Cowan's got power. It doesn't really stop throughout this order.
And he's behind 3-0. Just missed on that one.
You don't want to miss your spots inside the strike zone against the Barrie Baycats.
Gade stands 6'2", 180 pounds. And ball 4. A leadoff walk to Avery Tuck.
Avery Tuck's turned into a really good leadoff option for the Barrie Baycats. They went back to Jake Wilson yesterday, who took into the 3 spot for the absence of Ryan Rio. He's also taking the day off today, or not, I don't know, taking the day off. He's not in the lineup today. But they've gone back and forth between Jake Wilson and Avery Tuck, and both are good leadoff options. Tuck, though, really heating up over the last couple of weeks for the Baycats.
Roy Sando comes to the plate, his first appearance here at Coates Stadium this season, his 4th game of the year. All 3 previous games were on the road. The fans getting a first look at Ando here tonight. He bats with a man on and nobody out here in the first inning. Gade with the delivery, and that one hit to the second baseman, Evan Sherman, to short for 1, over to first, and it's not in time. Ando beats it out, and there's 1 on with 1 out in the first.
Great to see Roy Sando starting off strong. Ground ball to second, and it was a weird decision off a tough hop to backhand it to the shortstop. It took an extra second to do it that way. It was an accurate throw to shortstop, but by the time the shortstop threw it to first, it was too late. Stephen Whalen could not get it over there fast enough. So sometimes when it takes a tricky hop, you need to take the extra time, and it gives the runner an extra opportunity. Ando's got speed.
Here comes Jake Wilson and his .365 batting average. And again, Gade gets behind, 1-0. Breeze starts to pick up a little bit here in Midhurst.
Wilson went 1 for 5 against Welland yesterday. Everybody in that Barrie order yesterday had either a hit, a run, or an RBI, 1 minimum.
Well, that's exactly what the Baycats needed, a big win coming off of the disappointing outcome here on Thursday night.
The only exception to that is Tyler Plumpton. I'm still willing to give him credit, A, for the defensive effort, because he was excellent behind the plate, and B, because he had that sacrifice later in the game. That counts in my book as a meaningful, big contribution.
Ando goes, hit and run is on, and it's lined to the right field for a base hit. And because Ando was running, he's going to go all the way to third. Base hit for Jake Wilson, runners on the corners with 1 out in the first.
He's not missing many bats out there on the mound.
Perfectly executed hit and run by the Baycats. Ando in motion. Giving him an extra 90 feet on the bases.
And this is who you want at the batter's box right now. Jeff Cowan, who's been absolutely tremendous for the Barrie Baycats at the plate this season. A .507 on base percentage. He gets on base more than half the time, Ben.
It's his 15th game of the season, so he's played exactly half of the schedule for Barrie this year. And if he played more than that, I think he would be hands down the team MVP and the batting lineup. When you see the numbers for him, .421 average, and all the little things he's done so well at the plate, and the versatility defensively as well.
Yeah, he's still in the conversation.
Gade works from the stretch, runners on the corners. 0-1 to Jeff Cowan. Hits this one to third. Gloved by Nick Parsons. A long throw, bounces it up to the bag. It's in time for the out. But in to score is Roy Sando, and it's a 1-0 Baycat lead. Again, Jeff Cowan just getting the job done, even on a ground out there. Runner at third, and he helps the Baycats get a 1-0 lead.
During the last Baycats home game, manager Josh Matlow post-game mentioned his frustration with the fact they always seem to be down after the first couple of innings. They're up today, and it's a much better feeling to be up after one. It gives you a much more positive outlook on the rest of the game, especially after yesterday's game in Welland that went super well. They won by 7, so good offensive momentum.
Yeah, now that you mention that, that would be an interesting stat to look back and just, obviously we don't have that at our fingertips, but how many games this year the Baycats have given up the lead?
Early on, yeah.
It's been quite a few.
Josh Matlow was concerned about that. He mentioned as a contributor on why there are more losses than he'd prefer, but heading into the playoffs, it's a fresh opportunity to switch that up, and they're going in it in a good way.
Here's the pitch from Gade. Swing and a miss. David LeBlanc, the left fielder, behind in the count, 0-2. Well, the nice thing when you score first is that it takes a little bit of pressure off your own starting pitcher, especially if you get a big lead early for him to work with. Maybe feels like he doesn't have to be quite as picture perfect hitting his spots on the mound.
LeBlanc improved his average yesterday, 298, had a couple of hits, an RBI, 3 runs and 5 at-bats.
This one hit into foul territory. Lands in play, but no one able to get there in time. The count will hold at 0-2.
This is the outfield you're going to see probably for those playoff games. You're going to see LeBlanc in left, and then Wilson in center, and Avery Tuck in right, and it is a very strong outfield, both at the plate and otherwise.
Baycats had Noel McGarry Doyle here in the first half of the season, played 16 games, and with his departure, that left a pretty big hole out there to fill. It looks like Marcel Lacasse is at bat, so they must have changed something at the last minute. Oh, you're right.
So Marcel Lacasse taking his at bat, and Lacasse had a decent day yesterday. He had 3 walks, I believe, so showing good eye out there. So a late change to the batting order.
In the dirt, and it's blocked by Mahoney. Runners stay put. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. So I'll have to get an updated lineup here. Lacasse in the number 5 spot. LeBlanc is hitting 8th tonight. So everything's changed. We'll give you the updated order here in a second after this at bat. 2-2 on the way from Stephen Gade. The leg kick and the pitch. On the ground, second base. Nice sliding play by Sherman. Gets up, makes the throw, and the scoop by Keegan Marsden for the out. And that will do it for the Baycats. They do score, though. Roy Sando coming home on a sac round out by Jeff Cowan. 1-0 Baycats. You're watching Baycats TV.
The next home game for your Baycats will be playoff action scheduled to start early next week against a yet-to-be-determined opponent. Stay in touch with your favorite media source for a soon-to-be-released schedule. Round number 1 will be a best-of-3 series. The Baycats are guaranteed at least 1 home game. You can purchase tickets tonight at that game at the box office until the 5th inning or online at baycats.com. Tickets are $10 a piece. Inning number 2 is sponsored by Kingdom Bounce, specializing in kid-friendly inflatable structures. Visit them at kingdombounce.com.
Second inning at Coast Stadium, and it's a 1-0 Baycat lead. Let's give you some changes. We had a super early edition of the Baycat lineup, and some changes were made, so let's correct those for you. Just one defensive change. Marcel Lacasse is at third base tonight, not Darius Barlas. Barlas is not in the lineup. Lacasse is hitting in the number 5 spot. David LeBlanc, who we had in the number 5 spot, is in the number 8 spot tonight. Tyler Plumpton moves from 8 to 9 in the order. Everything else stays the same. Riley Davenport, Stephen Whalen, and Nick Parsons are due up for the Kitchener Panthers here in the top of the second inning. I want to welcome viewers tonight in the Kitchener-Waterloo region who might be picking up our broadcast on YouTube. Here's a pop-up, and it's just out of the reach and into the stands. Actually goes through the stands, and a bunch of happy kids to scramble for that ball. That's why you bring a glove to the park. So it's an 0-2 count to Davenport. This one hit to center field, and a diving play by James Wilson, and he comes up with a catch. One of those highlight reel grabs we've seen from Wilson this season. None better than that one right there. Well, we've seen him do that so many times this year, Patrick. Go all out on those plays. You got to make that quick decision. Are you going to backpedal and let it drop, or commit all the way to it? And
if you commit all the way and it goes well, then you look super great out there, don't you?
And only one guy can make that decision for you, and that's you. Soft liner, and it's loved by Burns, and there's 2 away.
2 of the strongest defenders for the Barrie Baycats. First Wilson, and now Carson Burns getting in on the fun.
The third base, number 53, Nick Parsons.
Parsons will bat with 2 away here in the second inning. Parsons' 19th game of the season, hitting .222 behind the plate. Or sorry, at third base, rather. He has played some catcher this year. Pitch from Benitez, low and away, ball 1.
He gets on base more than that .222 batting average would suggest. He has walked 13 times this year in 18 games, between his on-base average up to .432.
This one hit high in the air, behind the bag at second, and it's going to be the shortstop, Burns, coming over to grab that one as well. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Juan Benitez and the Barrie Baycats, and they'll come to the plate in the bottom of the second inning, leading by a score of 1-0.
No runners left on base. Gentlemen go through the stand selling 50-50 tickets. Fans, they're 3 for $2 or 9 for $5. The draw to take place at the end of the 7th inning. The jackpots this year have been really good, so don't wait. for the Baycats.
Our second inning is brought to you by Kingdom Bounce, specializing in kid-friendly inflatable structures. Visit them at kingdombounce.com. We thank them and all of our sponsors for their support through the 2021 season. This is our final regular season game and broadcast here on Baycats TV. We'll have the home playoff games for you, of course.
Keep an eye out on Baycats social media for info on away games and how you can pay attention to those. But yeah, all the home games throughout the playoffs will happen for you. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good playoff.
Yeah, it will be good, and it's been a season of highs and lows for the Baycats. Let's be honest about that. So, you know, certainly you want to be ready for that first series, and we don't know who Barrie is going to be playing. And we also don't know if they'll have games 1 and 3 or game 2. It's a best of 3 in the first round with the team with the better record getting the third game if necessary. So.
It's a lot of guessing because we also don't know the rotation. You expect Juan Benitez, Andrew Grider to be 1 and 2. And then from there, maybe Riley Hoover. Could be a few guys. Brad Grieveson's in the mix just because of the great ERA he's had, but he's pitching 2 straight games now out of the pen, so you expect that could be his role as well.
This one hit pretty hard, and it'll drop into the gap in the right center field. Digging hard around first is Burns. He's into second. Throw is cut off. Lead-off double for Carson Burns in the second inning.
Carson Burns is on fire right now for the Barrie Baycats, not just defensively. That's been his strength in the past, but this season, as it's gone along, he's really found his groove with the bat.
Number 34, James Anderson.
6 RBI, 3 hits, a run, and 5 at-bats. What a game he had, and he's looking to continue right along that same path today. And the way he's swinging the bat, there's no reason to expect any less. Having a great time out there.
A leg kick and the pitch from Gade, and he misses on the first offering. Panthers have 1 game left after tonight, and that is tomorrow against the London Majors.
Yeah, I think all the teams except the Baycats play tomorrow in 3 games across the league. And that should close out the IBL regular season, as long as there are no rainouts or anything.
2 balls, no strikes. James Anderson at first base tonight. Another one of those versatile guys, has been used in a number of spots for Josh Matlow this season.
First base, left field, catcher.
2-0 from Gade is blocked, and staying put is Burns. Took a big secondary lead, but decided to stay put, and wisely so. So it's a 3-0 count here to James Anderson with a runner at second and nobody out in the second inning. '22nd game of the year for Anderson. He's hitting .246.
The flexibility of Anderson and Jake McDonald have really opened the Baycats up to doing essentially whatever they want defensively. It's been fantastic. Jake McDonald not in the lineup today. He also wasn't in the starting lineup yesterday, but he came in as a pinch runner for Mike Cicchetto, who doubled early on. Cicchetto actually doubled in his first at-bat and singled in his second at-bat. There was a pass ball, so Cicchetto went to second, and then McDonald came in from there.
3-1 is hit to first. Nice play by Marsden. Had a bit of a tricky hop there, and able to get the glove up, played it perfectly. Runner advances, 1 out here in the second.
It'll be interesting to see if we see McDonald again in a similar situation today. So here's the real David LeBlanc.
Number 14, David LeBlanc.
Mentioned earlier that he was originally higher in the order. Things shifted around. Marcelo Cass up in the 5 spot now. But LeBlanc, a real good hitter to have in that 8th spot. Most lineups don't go that deep in any league. He's a top of the order bat in a bottom of the order situation.
First offering is inside, ball 1. LeBlanc hitting .298, 16th game of the season. 1-0 Baycats. We're in the bottom of the second. Gade with a leg kick. 1-0. Swing and a miss. LeBlanc chases that one.
Nice off speed. He was looking heater at the plate. Fooled on it.
Thank you. Count 1-2.
And that was the heater he was looking for on the previous pitch. He actually, I think, was looking off speed that time, so it got reversed. Now on the 1-2, you're guessing again. Maybe go with the opposite of your guess since you got the last two. You missed the last two.
Mahoney with a sign, the leg kick, the 1-2 pitch, off speed, and it's a shallow pop-up. Gloved easily by Sherman. 2 away in the inning.
It's one of those short swings that is adaptable to either a fastball or off speed. You can swing just a little bit later when you swing with a bit of a shortened cut like that.
Number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Tyler Plumpton moved from 8th to 9th in the batting order tonight with the late addition of Marcel Lacasse.
Plumpton also 9th in last night's batting order. Again, officially 0 for 4, but he had an important sacrifice. Played fantastic defense. That's why he's back in there tonight.
I'll strike to him 0-1.
Get the sense the Baycats are extremely comfortable with the combination of Tyler Plumpton and Jake McDonald behind the plate going forward. Both of them really settling into their roles nicely for Barrie.
Pitch from Gade. Hit to third. Nice backhand play there by Parsons. Takes the throw over to first, and it's picked nicely by Marsden for the third out of the inning. 2 innings in the books here at Coates Stadium. It's a 1-0 Barrie lead. You're watching Baycats TV.
For Barrie in second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. Inning number 3 is sponsored by Kurt's Coolers, mobile refrigerated freezer trailer rentals. Kurt's Coolers.
Trouble seeing the scoreboard or scorecard? Time to see Dr. Shell and his amazing team for all your eye care and eyewear needs. 225 Ferndale Drive. Go Baycats, go! Leading up the third for the Panthers, catcher number 21, Dan Mahoney.
Third inning we go here at Coates Stadium. It is brought to you by Kurt's Coolers Mobile Refrigerated Freezer Trailer Rentals. Juan Benitez and the Baycats leading 1-0. And they'll pitch to the bottom third of the order here. Dan Mahoney, Drayden Sloat, and Evan Sherman. And this one just over the glove of James Anderson and down the right field line. Mahoney's going to try to stretch it into 2. He's in under the tag and out! Great throw by Avery Tuck. We've seen him unleash that cannon a couple of times this year. And a big one there.
Challenging Avery Tuck in right field suggests you haven't watched Avery Tuck in right field, doesn't it? Every single game it feels like he does that at least once. Saves either a run or a situation on the base paths. He's got a cannon for an arm out there.
77, Drayden Sloat.
Only other base runner for the Panthers tonight was caught stealing, so Juan Benitez has faced the minimum.
Baycats potentially expecting aggressiveness on the base paths and taking that in and taking advantage of their knowledge of the scouting report.
So the Panthers, with one game left after tonight, they have 16 wins. They could potentially finish with 18 if they win tonight and beat London. They can't catch London because London has 20 and has clinched the pennant this year. Kitchener with a win tonight would get 17, and that would mathematically lock down the number 2 spot. Toronto has 15 wins, and they're in 3rd right now. Welland also with 2 games left, but the most that they can get is 16.
Benitez looking so comfortable out there on the hill.
Second strikeout of the game for the Dominican. And Evan Sherman now will bat the number 9 hitter.
Second baseman number 6, Evan Sherman.
And being comfortable is not an effort thing, but it sometimes looks like an effort thing out there on the hill, because when you're in a groove and it's all super comfortable out there, you just seem like you're throwing really calmly and really collectively. Another one right there from Benitez, great swing and a miss. And it almost looks lower effort in a good way. It's not lower effort in terms of mechanics or actual effort, but it just looks really, really locked in.
Baycats got some help with both Brantford and Hamilton losing last night, so they cannot finish last. The most likely scenario is that Barrie finishes 5th out of the 7 teams in the league. A win tonight would give them 14 wins and tie them with Welland, but Welland's got 2 games left.
I think the way I would put that last point just one more time, Ben, is the more effort you put into pitching well and the more smoothly it goes, the less effort it looks like it takes. And Juan Benitez absolutely nails that out there. It just looks extremely smooth.
Tries to get Sherman to chase a high one on the 1-2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes now.
He's been a fantastic find for the Baycats this year.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. High over our heads. Well out of play. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Second baseman Evan Sherman hitting just 154. And now time is called. No homers, 7 RBIs. It's 23rd game this season.
Yeah, 247 on base average. That's why he's at the bottom of the order.
It's that one down the third baseline, foul.
But again, we go back to it. Middle infield, very important. So if you have good defensive middle infielders, you don't need both of them to hit. Stephen Whalen's a pretty good hitter, so you can afford to have defense first and second baseman out there.
2-2. Just missed, and the count is full.
Usually it applies just a little bit more to shortstop, but you can do it with either one. And we've seen repeatedly how important it is to have a good second baseman out there too.
How about the pitch differential for Benitez so far? 25 strikes, just 9 balls.
Locked in.
Make it 10 as he walks Evan Sherman.
Is that a commentator's curse? Can we call that a commentator's curse?
No.
Feels like a commentator's curse.
You give us far too much credit up here.
I'm just saying, Ben talks about how low the ball count is.
I don't want the credit, and I don't
he
want the blame.
Immediately walks somebody. Just saying.
Benitez head faced the minimum, and that walk nullifies that as well. So Blake Jacklin now with a runner on and 2 out. The leadoff man. 1 for 1 tonight. And a called strike. Jacklin singled to open the ball game, but was caught stealing. A great throw by Tyler Plumpton.
Yeah, we got Avery Tuck taking away base runner and Tyler Plumpton earlier on in the night.
Great defense for the Baycats so far tonight. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
He is not thinking about going over there at first. But I would say there are 2 out, so it sounds obvious, but we've seen 2 out stolen bases before, especially earlier on in the game, but he is not thinking about it. All right, he might be a little bit more now, but he wasn't on the last pitch.
Right into the glove of Benitez. 3 outs in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-0 Baycats on Baycats TV.
For Kitchener 3rd, no runs and no hits, no errors. Excuse me, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, no runners left, 1 runner left on base. and please welcome 6-year-old Maxton Walker to the booth. Maxton is the latest winner and our last winner this year of our contest sponsored by Rock 95. Maxton attends McPhail Public School in Maxwell. He's a fanatical baseball fan and hopes to sign up for Little League next year. Welcome, Maxton.
Leading off the third to the Baycats, right fielder.
Top of the order for the Baycats as we head to the bottom of inning number 3. It's a 1-0 Barrie lead. Roy Sando scoring the game's only run on a sacrifice ground up by Jeff Cowan. I'm Ben Davy along with Patrick Melbourne. 15th and final home game of 2021 between the Baycats and the Panthers here tonight. Some good crowds here this season.
Not quite as full as we've seen the last couple of days just because of the threat of rain, I think. But I'm expecting a really nice crowd in that playoff game, or playoff games, hopefully more than one.
Also Labor Day weekend, and that's often not traditionally a big crowd here at Coates Stadium. Usually the Baycats are in the playoffs by this weekend, keep in mind. Swing and a miss. Way in front of that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That just means more people are listening to us, Ben. We're delivering the information to everybody across the nation.
So a win tonight for the Panthers would officially nail down the number 2 spot in the standings for them. And this one is short, no play. Stephen Whalen came up with it but couldn't get a throw off. It's a base hit for Avery Tuck.
We didn't do defense for the Panthers early on, so let's give it to you quickly here. Blake Jacqueline in left, Andy Leader in center. Fantastic name, Andy Leader. In center field is certainly one of the leading positions defensively. Sloat in right. In the infield is Nick Parsons at third base. Stephen Whalen at short. Second baseman is Evan Sherman. First baseman is Keegan Merson. Right and left, Dan Pony for Stephen Davis.
The tie-breaking criteria for teams that are tied in the standings, we were talking about this earlier, it is head-to-head record. So we have to dig back through and get some of those stats, and Mike Clark was able to help us get some numbers here quickly out to you. Toronto with 15 wins, Kitchener with 16. If Kitchener lost their last 2 games, tonight and tomorrow against London, and the Leafs won their 30th game, they've got 1 game remaining, that would put them at a tie. And Toronto has a 5-0 head-to-head record over Kitchener. So the Maple Leafs could finish second, get the number 2 spot, if all of those things happen. Of course, the Kitchener win tonight erases that whole conversation completely, and they get number 2. Kitchener does hold the head-to-head advantage over Welland. There's another throw over to check on Tuck.
Avery Tuck's got big speed. You can't blame them for being so aware of him at first base.
We mentioned Welland with 2 games left, so if they finish with 16 wins and Kitchener loses their last 2.
If you're Tuck, sorry Ben, you're almost daring the pitcher to either throw over again.
Kitchener would get the head-to-head advantage over Welland. They're ahead 4-1 in that.
You almost take it as a challenge on the base paths after so many pickoff attempts. You know the pitcher's aware of you and you want to beat him.
So even though Welland can finish with 16 wins, they can tie Kitchener, but they would lose the tiebreaker. So Welland cannot finish second. Only Kitchener and Toronto can get that number 2 spot at this point. Runner goes, pitches inside. Throw down from Mahoney, and it's off the glove of the shortstop, Stephen Whalen. A stolen base for Avery Tuck.
So what happened there was Avery Tuck distracted the pitcher too much off first base, several pickoff throws, and he wasn't focused 100% on the home plate. So the pitch to home inside, that was a lack of control. And then by that point, everything was high stress behind the plate. Throw to second, not anywhere near the quality it needed to be. Great job by Avery Tuck to distract the pitcher and win that battle. It's not over, though. He's got the speed to take third if he wants to.
Check of the runner. And another check. Here's the 2-1. Protects the plate and fouls it off. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ando with a fielder's choice, and he scored the game's only run in the first inning.
Baycats really using this time to get Royce Ando back up to speed after his injury. Only played a couple of games before yesterday and finally did get locked in yesterday. Took a couple of at-bats.
2-2 pitch, hit on the ground to short. Double clutching is Whalen. Got the throw over just in the nick of time to catch the speedy Royce Ando. We've seen his speed on both balls that he's hit in his 2 at-bats.
Yeah, in the very ideal lineup, I think they're making it pretty clear right now that Royce Ando is their guy at second base. So heading into the playoffs, they'd love for that to be the case.
Jake Wilson.
So if Ando is the guy at second, turns it short, Marcel Lacasse, where does Branfi Infante go?
Well, I guess you play it day to day, don't you? And Jeff Cowan as well, playing DH tonight. That's where the flexibility for these guys comes in. You can play Cowan in left if you need to, although that displaces David LeBlanc. Suddenly, all this depth is a good thing. Depth was a bit of an issue for the Baycats early on in the season, but if anything, they're going to have too many hard decisions to make for the playoffs, and that's exactly where you want to be.
Ryan Rio, if you're wondering, just simply not available for tonight. He's not in town. He had a prior commitment, so no injury concerns there at all. I did check with Josh Matlow for some confirmation on that.
Yep, should be back for the playoffs, and he's a big bat for them.
1 ball, 1 strike to Jake Wilson. Wilson 1 for 1 tonight. First inning single for the Baycats. Gade to the belt. Looks at the runner.
He's too focused on that runner at second.
1-1 pitch on the ground. Second base. It hits off the heel of Sherman's glove. Had to hurry the throw, and it's not in time. He bounced the throw. Didn't field it cleanly either. And that's going to be an error on the second baseman.
Yeah, it's an error at second base, and it's really lucky for Jake Wilson because out of the box he was not running at 100%. Noticed that there was an issue at second base and turned on the jets, went up to 100%. He's got blazing speed and managed to get in there. He's one of the only guys in this Baycats batting order who ends up safe. It might be Tuck, LeBlanc, Ando, Wilson safe first in that situation.
I think that ball hit off the heel of Sherman's glove, and then he was able to recover, but then bounced the throw. So
that's why second base is tougher than people realize.
Runner goes, and no throw, as Mahoney has to look Tuck back to third.
So the reason, he didn't throw it there was because he caught a glimpse out of the corner of his eye of Avery Tuck. If he had thrown it to second, Tuck would have scored. Yeah, that would have been a delayed steal from third for sure. And Tuck was ready. Great strategy, isn't it?
Well, Tuck was ready. If Mahoney was going to unload that throw down to second, you know he would have been off.
Well, there would have been 2 outcomes to there. Either you score and you don't care as much about what happens at second base, or you get the extra 90 feet. Great strategy from the Baycats. It's one of the best.
Yeah, I can't recall the last time I saw a caught stealing a second and then the throw down to home to get the runner there as well.
No chance, especially with Tuck's speed.
Just doesn't happen. So in those situations, if you're Kitchener, you're better off just eating the ball.
It's one of the best base running executions I've seen in a long time in any league. Really well done.
Also eliminates the double play possibility.
And that's big with 1 out.
An 0-2 on the way from Stephen Gade. Here it is. It's outside. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cowan tonight with a sacrifice ground ball to bring in the game's only run.
He seems to come up in those big opportunities, and he's made the most of them so far this year.
Well, you just can't underscore enough how much he has just done all of the fundamentals just so perfectly for Barrie this season.
Oh, without question.
At the plate and in the field.
Without question.
2 hopper to short. Throw over to first from Whalen is in time. No problem for Avery Tuck scoring on that. And there's 2 out in the inning. 2 ground balls, 2 RBIs for Jeff Cowan tonight.
He'll take it.
That's a typical Jeff Cowan kind of night, isn't it?
Well, he usually gets on base.
And somehow he still hits over 400.
Yeah.
Even though those don't count for his average.
Got the on base average.
It's
over
really
500.
amazing. It's really amazing, Patrick.
And sometimes he bunts for a hit.
Can't say it enough. He's hitting 421 for crying out loud.
What a fantastic player
really
he has
amazing.
been for the Baycats over his career.
Swing and a miss by Lacasse. He and Brad Grieveson, the 2 elder statesmen on this Baycats club. They've been around a long time. Matt Lowe, of course, a former player, so
Yeah.
we'll throw his name in as well.
This season, so many Baycats changing.
But those 3 from a whole different era of Baycat baseball. We're getting a look at the new generation here in 2021. No balls, 2 strikes to Marcel Lacasse. He's 0 for 1, a ground ball into the first inning.
And if they go into the playoffs hot with good momentum, if you believe in the day-to-day momentum and all these players will, they'll be in a good spot.
Absolutely believe in that momentum going into the playoffs. You see it at the major league level as well. How many times do teams get hot in September and out of nowhere they just take that energy right through the playoffs?
And I'm not sure if there's a way to put it into numbers, but I think the big thing is that the better you do, the more confident you'll be. And confidence is definitely a real thing, and it goes from player to player.
And you also see teams, conversely, lock up a division or lock up the pennant, and they kind of take the last week of the season to just sort of rest their guys, and then they come out for the playoffs, and it's just one struggle after another. So
I saw it last year in a different league where the team that won the first half of the season.
on the ground to first, nice defensive play by Marsden. He's made a couple tonight. Jogs to the bag in time for the out. We'll let you finish that thought when we do inning number 4. And actually, you're on the mic for the 4th inning, so
I might save it for you.
the story's all yours, though. We go to the 4th. It's 2-0 Barrie. You're watching Baycats TV.
Trying to find replacement springs for your classic car can be like finding a needle in a haystack. That's where Complete Spring can help. Complete Spring Service specializes in vehicle suspension and spring service for all makes and models. Visit Complete Spring right off the Dunlop exit on the 400 in Barrie.
1-1 left on base.
Fans up on an outstanding hand for Maxton tonight. What a great job. We got to go run tonight. Thank you, Maxton. Maxton. Leading up the 4th for the Panthers, the center fielder number 49, Andy Leader.
4th inning, once again sponsored by The Cage, Barrie's only indoor public batting cage. Patrick Melbourne with you. Thanks for joining us here on Baycats TV. Ben Davy along with us as well. Juan Benitez on the mound, facing off against Andy Leader. First pitch just misses inside, ball 1. It'll be Leader, Keegan Marsden, and Riley Davenport. 2, 3, and 4 for the Panthers in inning number 4. Benitez kicks, fires, and it's grounded right back to him. Fields it. Throws to first, 1 out. Juan Benitez looking extremely comfortable out there on the hill. And the Baycats out to an early 2-0 lead, giving him a bit of run support. Keegan Marsden stands in now. Going to give you a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in just a moment. Pitch from Benitez to Marsden, way outside, 1-0. Might be the only game today, but there's a full slate tomorrow. Ground ball, this one gets by Benitez and goes to second base, and it's misplayed at second. Throw on to first is going to be late. It was a tough bounce off the mound, and playing deep at second was Roy Sando. Couldn't make the play, so the Kitchener Panthers have a base runner here in the fourth. There is one other game across the IBL today. It's a game between London and Welland.
14, Riley Davenport.
And then 3 tomorrow. Marsden takes the lead off first. Here's Riley Davenport, the designated hitter, hitting .259 on the season. And he swings and fouls it right back into the catcher's glove, strike one. Marsden takes the lead off first. Defense playing traditionally. Now ready. Up and in. Llewellyn Jackfish facing off, of course, against the Barrie Baycats last night. Barrie got a good start from Andrew Grider. Welland currently up 2-1 as that one is hit to center field. Everybody moving into it, and it's going to drop. Jake Wilson fields it on a bounce, and the Panthers have runners on first and second now with one out. Jackfish with a 2-1 lead over the Majors just to finish off that point. So we'll keep you updated across the standings in the IBL throughout the evening. Tyler Plumpton goes out to Juan Benitez just to
the shortstop, number 5, Stephen Whalen.
Talk strategy. It's the shortstop, Stephen Whalen, who stands in. Whalen, a good defensive shortstop in the middle of the order bat. Swings the first pitch from Benitez and fouls it on the ground straight back. Be interesting to take a look at the leads. You can see at the top of your screen right now the leadoff second base for Keegan Marsden. Benitez set, looks back at the runner, kicks and throws, and that one's hit to left and it's going to drop. David LeBlanc's going to field that, and the bases are going to be loaded for the Kitchener Panthers in the fourth. They get the first man, Andy Leader, out, but since then, 3 straight Panthers have reached against Juan Benitez, and that'll bring up Nick Parsons, the third baseman.
The third baseman, number 53, Nick Parsons.
So everything really smooth for Benitez through most of this game. The walk to Evan Sherman, but other than that, he'd faced the minimum. But then Leader comes up, it looked smooth again, and since then, things have gone a little bit south for the Baycats ace. Glances over at first. He's got the sign from the catcher Plumpton. Plumpton setting up outside. Here's the pitch from Benitez, and it is in the zone, strike one. Parsons, that guy we mentioned, much bigger OBP than his regular batting average because he walks so much. Great eye, and he takes pitch up and in. That's a pitch that fools a lot of guys right there. You see it curve up and toward you, and you think, wow, I can hit that, but maybe not. Kicks, throws, swing and a miss. 1-2. Kitchener trying to secure second place in the IBL standings with a win today. The tying run is on second here in the fourth. Benitez trying to keep the lead for the Baycats. Shortstop is Carson Burns. He's playing closer to the bag than second baseman Roy Sando. Kicks and throws, and it is just outside. Keep it even at 2. The wind coming in from I don't know what direction. It's kind of interesting. I think it's coming in from the left side. Yeah, northwest we're getting. Two-two. Pitch coming from Juan Benitez. Long hold as the crowd gets into it. Plumpton has the sign. Kicks and throws. And it's fouled right back. We'll do it again. Count remains 2-2. Benitez kicks at the dirt, wearing his bright white jersey with the dark blue hats. Same as the Baycats. Home set for most of this season except on Thursday. Kicks and throws. Fouled away again. Nick Parsons doing a great job to get Benitez to throw more pitches than he wanted to in this at-bat. A big part of Benitez's game is getting deep into it. Baycats would love to get him at least through 7 tonight, so Kitchener's game plan, get the pitch count up early. Pitch from Benitez, away and low, 3-2. Dan Mahoney, the catcher, would be next. Encouragement from the crowd. Benitez steps back on the hill. Gets his glove. Ready, looks in for the sign. Now set. Near the chest. Kicks and throws. Got him! Nick Parsons down on strikes. Third strikeout of the day for Juan Benitez. 2 out.
The catcher number 21, Dan Mahoney.
So here's Mahoney. If you're just joining us, Andy Leader out for the first out, and then the Panthers got 3 straight on the base paths. Keegan Marsden, Riley Davenport, Stephen Whalen. Long at-bat for Nick Parsons, and that one is fouled right side. Long at-bat for Nick Parsons against Juan Benitez, ends in a strikeout. And now the catcher, Dan Mahoney, and the 7-hitter, trying to keep the inning alive for Kitchener with 2 out. Count 0-1 following the foul ball. Benitez looks back at the runner on second. No one can go. They're loaded, and the pitch is outside. 1-1. Kitchener at 16-12 on the season. In their last game, they beat the Hamilton Cardinals 3-2. Mahoney went 0 for 3 in that one. Benitez throws, and it's on the ground up the middle. It's going to get through and score at least 1 run. Scoring is Keegan Marsden. Throw to the plate, and it's not going to be in time to get Riley Davenport. Runners on first and second now. 2 runs come across, and it's tied. Kitchener 2, Barrie 2 in the 4th. So Juan Benitez cannot get the pitch he wanted. It goes right up the middle and scores 2, and that'll bring up Drayden Sloat.
Right fielder number 77, Drayden Sloat.
Sloat wears number 77 on his back. He's a lefty hitter against the righty Benitez, and now runners taking their leads off first and second. First pitch to him is a strike, going 1. Starting to get darker above Coates Stadium. There's an open base at third. Ground ball up to second. Ando has a play on it. He flips it to Carson Burns, and that'll end the inning. But the Kitchener Panthers score 2. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's Panthers 2, Baycats 2, right here on Baycats TV.
For Kitchener in the 4th, 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors, 2 runners left on base. Fans with us celebrating birthdays tonight. The Baycats organization would like to wish a very happy birthday to Jeff Bedford and a happy special birthday to Sandra Daniels. Happy birthday from the Barrie Baycats. And Taylor Green will throw their first pitch tonight, celebrating his 10th birthday, September 7th. updating the other game that's underway in the IBL tonight. Bottom of the 6th in Welland. The Welland Jackfish lead the London Maidens by a score of 2-1.
Welcome back to Baycats TV. Patrick Melbourne with you. Ben Davy here as well. 2-1 between Welland and London in the other game across the IBL. If you're looking across the standings, of course, London already clinching the first spot in the IBL standings. After that, it's Kitchener 16-12, Toronto 15-15, or 15-14, excuse me. Welland at 500, 14-14. Barrie 13-16. Hamilton and Brantford both at 11-18. So playoffs just around the corner. Looking forward to that right here on Baycats TV, or come down to the ballpark. If you're looking to buy tickets for upcoming Baycats home games, you can visit our website to buy all of your tickets online, powered by Seat Giant. Single game tickets can be bought for $10, with kids 12 and under getting in free. So whether you want to watch at home on TV or at the ballpark, Baycats have you covered. Keep an eye on social media for updates to the schedule and playoff details. Carson Burns leading things off. He's the 6th hitter for the Baycats. First in the bottom of the 4th against Stephen Gade, who has a brand new ball game to look at, pitching with the deficit over the first couple of innings. Now in the 4th, his team's tied it up 2-2. But he's got a tough challenge in Carson Burns, who 1 for 1 today and has seen the ball extremely well for about a week or two now. Count 2-0 to him. Carson Burns, the lefty against the righty on the mound. That's hit up the middle. Another hit for Carson Burns. You can't be seeing the ball much better than Carson Burns has over the last few games, and it continues there. A leadoff single for the Baycats shortstop.
First baseman number 34, James Anderson.
So now James Anderson with a runner on first. Anderson in yesterday's game, 1 for 4 against Welland. If he didn't catch it, Jake Palanchich started that game for the Welland Jackfish, went 7 and pitched really well, only gave up the 3 runs, but the Baycats saw the ball extremely well against the Welland bullpen. That one's hit to second. It's going to be a tough play at second. From his knees, throw on to first, 1 out. So the Baycats get the extra 90 feet from Carson Burns. He moves to second, but a nice play at second base from Evan Sherman catches James Anderson 1 away. So now David LeBlanc stands in.
The left fielder number 14, David LeBlanc.
LeBlanc with a runner in scoring position. We mentioned it his first time up. He's a top of the order bat, hitting in the 8th spot tonight. Looks back at second. Pitch just catches the strike zone, upper part of it, 0-1. Burns has got okay speed, not their biggest threat to run, but not slow either. Ready on the hill. Stephen Gade looks back at second, now looks home, looks back again, and now fires, and it's popped up. This one's going to go to foul territory. It's going to get out of play and hit off the cement. And you're hearing the crowd react to all the kids chasing for it. We mentioned how it becomes a race sometimes for all those foul balls, and I think tonight's going to be one of those nights. LeBlanc facing an 0-2 count now. Gade ready. Has his sign. Gives a little bit of a sign back to the catcher. You don't see that super often. Now is ready. Rocks back and forth. Kicks and throws. Inside. No! Strike 3. Looked to be on the inside part, but maybe caught the strike zone there. The umpire certainly thought so. 2 away.
Catcher number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Bottom of the order, and Tyler Plumpton, the 9-hitter. After Plumpton, it'll be Tuck Ando Wilson. Baycats hoping to extend it to the top of the order in the 4th, but there are 2 out. Carson Burns taking his lead off second. Outside. Plumpton, one of those Baycats hitters that doesn't wear batting gloves. Has rotated the catcher job this season with guys like James Anderson and Jake McDonald. Down the stretch, though, it's been a lot of Tyler Plumpton behind the plate the last few games. This is the third game in 3 days, and I believe it's all been Plumpton. Definitely has been, actually, thinking about it, because it was against Brantford on Friday, and it was last night against Welland. So this is the third straight start in 3 days for Tyler Plumpton behind the plate. If the Baycats go up big, or there's a different score deficit, you might see a different catcher mid-game just to rest Plumpton's knees a little bit. Ground ball right back to first. Should be an easy play. Gets it back to the pitcher, Gade, and that'll end the inning. We're through 4, still 2-2 between the Kitchener Panthers and the Barrie Baycats. Back in just a moment, right here on Baycats TV.
1 runner left on base. Inning number 5 is sponsored by SeatGiant.ca. Official ticket marketplace of your Barrie Baycats. Get all your major event tickets with the North America and Canadian funds. SeatGiant.ca. Defensive change, the Baycats now playing left field, number 26, Jake McDonald.
The 5th inning on Baycats TV. Welcome back. 5th inning is sponsored by SeatGiant, the official ticket marketplace of the Barrie Baycats. Get all of your major event tickets within North America in Canadian funds. Jake McDonald has come into play left field for David LeBlanc. We'll get details on what that substitution is about post-game. Keep an eye on BarrieBaycats.com. Recap from Sam Hossack. Will be posted shortly following the game's conclusion. Still a long way before then, though. We're only in the top of the 5th. Patrick Melbourne with you. Ben Davy back as well.
And Juan Benitez hopeful for a cleaner inning here in the 5th. He was cruising along through the first 2 innings, facing the minimum. And in the 4th inning, back-to-back singles.
Leading up the 5th for the
Panthers plate 2 runs, tie this ball game back up.
9-hitter Evan Sherman standing in against Benitez. And it was funny because Benitez never really looked all that bad out there on the hill. That's a ground ball left side. Burns has got it. Throw onto first is going to bounce and take him off the bag.
Boy, an awful tough play for Carson Burns to make. Great job getting there, showing that incredible range he has to his right. And from the outfield grass, got it over as best as he could, but just unable to get enough on that throw to beat Evan Sherman.
You know, a fielder is an awfully good fielder when we almost have to think about whether we're talking about it too much. Carson Burns, what a player he has been for the Baycats this season when he's at short, and especially with the bat lately as well.
Would have took a Derek Jeter-like throw to actually get Sherman there at first base.
Runner going, throw to second is offline and goes over to the second baseman Ando, so it was low and bounced off Carson Burns's feet there.
Now Burns catches that ball, and I think they get Sherman. That was a good, strong throw by Plumpton again. He's already thrown out 1 runner tonight. Got the ball there in time.
Just a tiny bit low. So here's Blake Jacklin. Count 1-0 to him. And he shows bunt, and he doesn't pull it back in time. It's a 1-1.
Well, that gives the corner infielders something to think about now, too. James Anderson at first, Marcel Lacasse at third. They weren't playing in, but Anderson quick on his feet to respond to that bunt show by Jacqueline.
Runner on second, nobody out. Count 1-1. Here it is, and it is strike two, 1-2. Here at the top of the fifth inning at Coates Stadium. Glad to have you with us on Baycats TV. This is the final regular season game for the Barrie Baycats. And it's turned into an awfully nice night here. That one's hit to right. Pretty deep too, but it looks like it's going to go foul, and it does. It seems like the risk, and I'm not a weather person, but it seems like the risk of rain has gone down. It doesn't feel like it's going to... Do you feel the same, or do you feel a little bit differently?
Well, I checked the forecast, and we are in for some rain here in the Barrie area. Most of it overnight. It'll probably, right now it says it's going to arrive around 9 o'clock. Time between 9 and 10. We'll probably start to get wet here.
Inside?
According to what we see on the hourly forecast right now from Environment Canada. So,
guess we'll see how it goes down.
Sky pretty dark above us right now.
Very dark, but it generally gets about this dark at this time anyway, I would have said. Here's the 2-2. Got him. That is strike three. Blake Jacqueline down on strikes. Benitez, strikeout number 4.
Wind blowing in as well, and sometimes when you see that start to pick up a little bit, it's a good sign that there may be some rain in behind it, so we'll see, but it's
I guess what's
breezier
throwing
than it
me
was
off
earlier in the evening.
I guess what's throwing me off, Ben, is through the rain we've had earlier in the summer, it tends to get really, really humid, and there's none of that humidity right now.
Humidity has dropped.
It's nice.
24 with the Humidex last I checked, so very comfortable evening in the breeze. Making it a very nice summer evening here as well.
0-1 to Andy Leader. Blake Jacqueline was the leadoff hitter in this order, and now Leader, the number 2. Ground ball last time for the first out of the inning, but then it was after Leader where the Panthers lineup really started to heat up. Count now 0-2. Ando playing closer to the bag than Burns at second. Runner taking a decent lead, 3 or 4 steps. Here's the pitch from Benitez, and it's fouled straight back. Two runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Kitchener Panthers. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Barrie Baycats so far tonight.
Well, I know you really like Andy Leader's last name, so I had to try to find a category that he's actually leading in, and he's got 8 doubles to lead the Panthers.
There we
so
go.
Living up to his name.
0-2. Fouled off again. There we go. Andy Leader is just it's a great name in general and a great baseball name. And if you ever feel like he's hitting well enough to put him in the leadoff spot, you have to do that if you're the manager, don't you?
Sounds natural to me.
0-2 on the ground, third base. Lacasse has it on a bounce. Throw to first. Second out.
Well, nice job there by Marcel Lacasse, able to look the runner back Sherman, so he stays put. And with 2 out now, it brings Keegan Marsden to the plate.
The first baseman, number 34, Keegan Marsden.
So Marsden, the lefty first baseman. Struck out his first time up, singled and made it home his second time up. Benitez looks back now, winds, fires, and it's up and away. 1 out of the count. Feel the rain coming now. I don't know what shifted, but something shifted. Up and away, 2-0. Maybe it's just the fact the temperature dropped a little bit?
It's definitely a cool breeze starting to come in from the south, and that's blowing in.
Yeah, I'm going to shift my opinion. It's starting to feel like rain again. 2-0. 2-1.
Hands are dry so far, but we'll keep an eye for those umbrellas and see if they start to pop out sometime.
That's less fun than the than watching the people who didn't bring the umbrellas. Oh, we can't talk. We didn't bring umbrellas either. That's mean of me to say. 3-1.
If you're Barrie, you want to get a run in the bottom of the 5th inning, and then regardless of what happens, you've got the lead and it's an official game.
3-1 the count. 2 out. Runner on second in the 5th. Strike 2. 3-2.
Wow, Adam DeCare calling that one. He likes to keep the game moving along, and you saw an example of that right there. That was a pretty close pitch, and I think Marsden thought he might have gotten 3 passes down to first.
Runner taking the lead off second. Here's the pitch from Benitez. Got him! Strike 3 ends the inning. Juan Benitez looking good. Heading to the bottom of the 5th right here on Baycats TV.
No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. Fans, the next home game for your Baycats will be playoff action, scheduled to start early next week against a yet-to-be-determined opponent. Stay in touch with your favorite media source for a soon-to-be-released schedule. Round number 1 will be a best-of-3 series. The Baycats are guaranteed 1 home game. You can purchase tickets tonight for that game to the end of the 5th inning at the box office. Tickets are $10 or online at barriebaycats.com. Leading up the 5th for the Baycats, the right fielder number 28, Avery Tuck.
Baycats lead off the 5th inning with their leadoff hitter, Avery Tuck. Lefty standing in against pitcher Stephen Gade. Tuck has done well so far, a walk and a hit. First pitch to him outside. They're going to be careful with Avery Tuck. Surely they've heard how well he's been doing over the last few games. 1-0. Lace to right and foul. 1-1. We were joking a little bit about this earlier, but if you come to Coates Stadium and there's any chance of rain, make sure you do bring an umbrella. Make sure you bring a glove for the foul balls if you've got one. 1-1. Other side this time, left side foul.
Well, I took a little look at the weather radar just to see what we are in for here tonight, and there is some active weather moving in from the southwest. Right now, all of it is south of us, though, and it's very, very light rain. There's no heavy storm cells that I can see right now coming into the area, so far things look pretty good. I know we did say that there's a strong chance of rain after 9 o'clock. We'll keep an eye on it for you, but right now, any shower activity is well to our south.
1-2 the count. Avery Tuck facing off against Stephen Gade. Kitchener 2, Barrie 2. We're in the bottom of the 5th here at Coates Stadium. Swing and a miss. Tuck down on strikes, 1 out.
And again, if you're the Baycats, love to get a run here in the bottom of this 5th inning and make the game official. Then you don't have to worry about what the weather does tonight.
Here's Ando.
Second base number 7, Royce Ando.
the second strikeout for Gade so far this evening.
Ando with his third RBI last night. First pitch down and away, 1-0.
Gade does not have a 3-up, 3-down inning so far tonight. You could definitely use one here.
Baycats making him work. 1-0, working quickly. Now one's popped up right side. A fan catches it.
Really like what I've seen from Roy Sando so far here in his home debut. He has 3 road games, as we mentioned. This is his 4th game for the Baycats, but it's really shown his pretty aggressive approach at the plate and some good speed as well.
Outside, 2-1.
Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, but scored Barrie's first run and ran pretty hard on a ground out in the 3rd inning as well.
Bases are clear. Ando hoping for Barrie's 5th hit of the evening. Outside again, 3-1. Jake Wilson would be next. He will be next, to be honest, because there's only 1 out. Fouled off, same spot in foul territory. That one goes into the bushes. (3-1) the count. Wind is pretty much stopped here, and that one's on the ground up the middle. Shortstop moving in. Shortstop throwing to first. First baseman's got it. 2 away. Shortstop in that situation, Stephen Whalen. First baseman, Keegan Marsden.
Nice play by Whalen as he gloves it cleanly. Had to use his feet as well to get to that ball and make a strong throw over to first base for the second out of the inning. Mentioned Gade could use a 3-up, 3-down inning. He's 1 away from that right here with Wilson coming to the plate.
Jake Wilson, not the easiest guy in this order to get out, though. First pitch to him is fouled weakly behind the plate. Singled his first time up, reaching an error his second time. And he's been a little bit cooler with the bat lately, but everybody who saw Jake Wilson early on in the season knows how dangerous he is.
Gade with 18 walks this season, that is the most on the Panthers pitching staff, and if you're the Baycats, you have to be aware of that, especially as we get to the middle innings of this ball game. Sometimes control can be a bit of an issue for a starter, especially if he starts to get deep in those counts. You're Barrie, you want to keep that patient approach at the plate. Obviously, they're anxious to get the lead here and take that into the second half of this ball game, but if you can work the pitcher deep, get ahead in the count, that'll help you get some runners.
0-1. Right side and caught by the Kitchener first baseman, Keegan Marsden, to retire the side. Let's go to the 6th right here on Baycats TV.
For Barrie, the 5th. No runs and no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base.
Well, rain doesn't help us in a tie game. So.
Inning number 6 is sponsored by Starting Lineup, Uniform and Apparel, the official jersey of the Barrie Baycats. Your season starts here. Starting Lineup, Uniforms and Apparel.
Baycats TV, welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. Panthers 2, Baycats 2. And you might start to see the umbrellas come out. We just saw a little bit of a drizzle, and yeah, a few more coming down, Ben, as hopefully everybody did bring their umbrellas. Or at least some kind of jacket. First pitch to Riley Davenport is swung on and missed, 0-1. It'll be Davenport, Stephen Whalen, and Nick Parsons. Facing off against Juan Benitez in for inning number 6 of work. Baycats would love to get at least 7 out of him. Swing and a miss now, 0-2.
Just one other game in the IBL tonight, and it's the London Majors in Welland. 3-2 London the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning at Welland Stadium, and that's a big game for the Majors, who still have some, or for the Jackfish, who still have some playoff positioning to determine.
Baycats would love to see London pick up that win. They don't. London's clinched first place. Baycats aren't concerned about them. But if the Jackfish drop, that would potentially give Barrie a different matchup.
Well, I'll give you some playoff info here in just a moment.
High drive to right, not super deep. Moving back, Avery Tuck, moving over and making the catch for the first out.
So we were talking about possible playoff matchups earlier, and we weren't sure about the tie-breaking criteria. It is head-to-head record, which breaks up any position, any tie position beyond the first place team. As you mentioned, London has clinched the top spot. We can confirm that the Baycats will finish 5th. If they were to tie Welland, so if they were to win their game tonight and then Welland loses their next 2, they would tie for 14 wins each, but Welland has the head-to-head advantage over Barrie, 3-2. So the Baycats can't finish higher than 5th. They've clinched that number 5th spot for sure.
That'll sting off the shin of Stephen Whalen. It was fouled off. So he's going to need a second just to get back in. Umpire going to step out and give him an extra second.
So the Baycats will open round 1 on the road, and it will be against either Welland or Toronto. And then game 2 back here at Coates Stadium. The potential tiebreaker would be in either Toronto or Welland for game 3.
Baycats faced off against that Welland bullpen awfully well yesterday, and they've done well against Toronto all season long. So.
Oh, you know they'd love to play the Leafs.
Oh yeah.
As for Kitchener,
but also you might not want to get too overconfident against the Leafs. So either matchup.
Still got to play the games. As for Kitchener, they can finish 2nd or 3rd.
0-2, 1-2.
They cannot finish 4th because Kitchener has the head-to-head advantage over the Jackfish. So Toronto is the only other team that could potentially finish in the number 2 spot. Toronto has the head-to-head over Kitchener. Toronto right now with 15 wins, Kitchener with 16. Of course, if the Panthers win tonight, that clinches number 2 in the standings for them.
Ben Davy doing all the calculations and looking it up and finding everybody who knows what they're talking about with all of it, and I'm just looking at the standings, having some fun. That one's grounded first base side, and it'll go foul.
Well, all that you boil all that down. What does it mean? Purely from a standings point of view, this game means more to the Panthers than the Baycats.
Yeah.
The Baycats know they'll finish 5th. Still want to win tonight. You don't want to go into the playoffs with a loss.
Yeah, it's all about momentum and non-stat things for the Baycats.
No positioning in play here for Barrie tonight. Kitchener definitely wants to win to get that number 2.
1-2 from Benitez inside. And you figure Benitez probably going to start game 2 of a series just because he's starting that final game of the regular season, depending on how soon the playoffs start. Swing and a miss. Whalen down on strikes, 2 out. Andrew Grider started yesterday for the Baycats. Pretty good start, 4 hits, 1 run. Walked 3, struck out 4 across 5 innings. Souls came in for the 2nd straight day, so he's likely unavailable today. Pitched an inning and 2/3, was really, really good. Again, walks a couple, but struck out 1, only gave up 1 hit. Brandon Hillier, 2 hits, 0 runs, an inning and a 1/3, and then Brad Gravison, an inning, only gave up a home run. Other than that, was really good. Pitch upstairs to Nick Parsons, 1-0.
Yeah, I'm not really sure you could have Benitez as your game 1 starter after pitching tonight, especially if the series opens in the middle part of the week with no rainouts to make up.
Right, but so if there's a 2 or 3 or 4 day break, you might see Andrew Grider in game 1. And I think the Baycats would be perfectly comfortable with that. Grider's been pretty good for the Baycats down the stretch. 2-0. Right side and through for a base hit. Parsons stops at first as Tuck throws it into Roy Sando. It's a 2-out single for the number 6 hitter, and that'll bring up the catcher once again, Dan Mahoney.
8th hit for the Panthers tonight. They've had base runners every inning except the 2nd. They've had some good contact off Benitez tonight. Only the 2 runs coming in the 4th inning. For
anybody scoring or following, just want to remind you that The new left fielder as of last inning is Jake McDonald, not David LeBlanc. Inside to Dan Mahoney, the catcher. Benitez trying to complete his 6th inning of work.
This is a big at bat here in a 2-2 tie in the 6th with some weather coming our way. Mahoney 2 for 2 tonight. Drove in a couple of runs in that 2-run 4th inning. But he's swinging a hot bat.
Up and in, you know the Baycats want to get length from Benitez. They've used Souls and Grieveson in 2 straight games. Rain has not come down the way we were fearing after seeing a couple of raindrops, at least yet. Runner on first, 2 out. Here's the pitch from Juan Benitez, up and in. Count now 3-0. Drayden Sloat would be next.
Well, we've seen the generous strike zone from Adam DeCare in a couple of earlier at-bats tonight, but he's really making Juan earn this at-bat against Dan Mahoney.
3-0. Strike 1, 3-1. Yesterday, that appearance from Brandon Hillier brought down the ERA. He's going to be an option for them in the playoffs as well. Count now full 3-2 after that foul ball.
Nice job by Benitez. Fell behind 3-0 to Mahoney. Got the outside corner strike for 3-1, and then a foul at the plate here. So payoff pitch here on the way, and Nick Parsons will be off with the pitch.
3-2. He's going, and it's ball 4. So they lose Dan Mahoney, 2 on, 2 out. 6th inning is sponsored by Starting Lineup Uniforms and Apparel, the official jersey provider of the Barrie Baycats. Your season starts here.
Well, that's just the 2nd walk of the night for Benitez, but a big one for Kitchener as it puts 2 on with 2 out for Sloat. Chance for the Panthers to break open this 2-2 tie here in the 6th.
Strikeout and a ground out for Sloat. Facing a 0-1 count against Benitez, who has looked good tonight. Game tied. Baycats went out to a 2-0 lead, but the Panthers have since regained it. 2 runs apiece. Kitchener has 8 hits, Barrie only 4, so. Burns at short. Goes to second. Ando making the play to end the innings. The Baycats get out of the 1st and 2nd 2-out jam. The game is still tied. We head to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching the Barrie Baycats on Baycats TV.
First pitch in the 6th. No runs on 1 hit. No Warriors. 2 runners left on base. That's good. Last call for 50-50 tickets. We've got our gentleman down here behind home plate. If you're looking for the tickets, raise your hand. Braden will get to you. 3 for 2, 9 for 5. Draw to take place at the end of the 7th inning. Leading up the 6th for the Baycats and batting for the designated hitter, Jeff Cowan, number 5, Mike Tichetto.
Bottom of the 6th, Mike Chiquetto coming in to pinch hit for Jeff Cowan. And he swings at the first pitch, hits it up the middle, and it gets through. Chiquetto's on board. It only took one pitch, and he's got himself a single.
Bit of a surprise taking Cowan out of the lineup. We'll try to get an explanation on that a little bit later on or at the end of the ball game. But Cowan, the team's best average in the lineup, and they've been very effective in his first 2 at-bats. But
Number 13,
Chiquetto, first pitch swinging, and Josh Matlow looks like a genius, putting him on to get a base runner here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Chiquetto has seen the ball well the last couple of days. Saw it yesterday, a single and a double. And Cowan was DHing, so you don't have to worry about the defense factor and changing anybody else around. So here's Marcel Lacasse, third baseman. Lefty perspective against the righty pitcher. Shows bunt, pulls it back, not in time. It would have been a strike anyway, 0-1.
And again, this is a game, now that we know it, there's no playoff positioning at stake here for the Baycats. They're finishing 5th no matter what. Yeah, you want to win the game, but maybe this is a night where we might see some more pinch hitters as the game unfolds, just to get everybody up there swinging the bat a little bit here tonight.
It's a great point.
Don't want anybody cold going into game 1 of round 1.
Lacasse. Outside. 1-1.
You know Jeff Cowan's going to be ready for the playoffs.
I think he'd have been ready for the playoffs on day 1 of the season. That veteran experience. The guys like Chiquetto, you're right, you might want to get them in, not as experienced in the league. He's been with a couple of teams, but hasn't played a ton of games until this year. 0-1, showing bunt again, pulls it back again, would have been a strike again, 0-2.
Well, I like the thought process there in a 2-all game, bottom of the 6th inning. Try to get that runner over if possible, but so far Lacasse unable to get a pitch where he can actually get that bunt down. He won't be bunting here on 1-2.
You're right, it is showing 1-2 on the board, so I apologize. Count 1-2 to Marcel Lacasse. Inside, 2-2.
Gate had been rolling right along. He has retired, prior to the hit by Chiquetto, he had retired 6 in a row, including a 3-up, 3-down 5th inning.
Baycats scored.
Wanting to interrupt that momentum a little bit here, Patrick.
Yeah, they scored a run early and then another one a little bit later, but he's been good since then. And he's giving the Panthers length from their starting pitcher. 2-2 is popped up, should be playable. Third base side, moving over is the third baseman. It's Nick Parsons, he makes the catch, 1 away. Chiquetto goes back to first and Lacasse retired, and that'll bring up Carson Burns.
Burns swinging a hot bat tonight, 2 for 2.
Shortstop number 3, Carson Burns.
Burns has been swinging a hot bat for quite a while.
Led off the 2nd with a double, led off the 4th with a base hit. Hasn't scored yet tonight. Job tonight simply to get Chiquetto over, try to keep this inning going here with 1 out in the inning.
First pitch is a strike, 0-1. Looked on the outside part of the strike zone, but still in there. Bottom of the 6th, Kitchener 2, Barrie 2, runner on first, 1 out.
Chiquetto not a threat to steal here, so that helps Gate out. He can just focus on the batter. Just try to get Burns here at the plate.
Carson Burns against Stephen Gade. Ball down low, 1-1. James Anderson waiting on deck.
See good defense by the Panthers tonight. They've got Whalen and Sherman at double play depth. Ready for that ground ball to get out of the inning.
And they get it. It's to first. First baseman goes to second for 1. Throw back to first, and it's thrown away. Curving around first is Carson Burns. He's going to get to second. So they get the lead runner, Chiquetto, throw the ball away, and Burns ends up at second anyway. 2 out and a runner on second.
Well, we'll see how huge that ends up being. That could have been an inning-ending double play for Stephen Gade and the Kitchener Panthers. Keegan Marsden with a nice play to glove that at first in front of the bag. Got a good throw over, but the return back to him was a bad throw. And no sooner do I mention the Panthers tidy defensively tonight. And a bad throw keeps this inning going in the 6th, and a crucial juncture of this ball game in a 2-all tie. And now a runner in scoring position with 2 out.
I'm just writing something down here, Ben. Commentators curse count 2. Second time from you.
You're keeping the curse count on me.
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Wow. Boy, I feel good about that. Thank you.
Runner on second, 2 out. He's jinxed each team equally tonight, one apiece.
That was the right play by Marsden, though, getting the slower runner, Chiquetto, and the lead runner at second base. Nabbed him in plenty of time, but just a bad throw. Carson Burns advances another 90 feet.
Outside, James Anderson 1-0. Remember, Jake McDonald on deck, not David LeBlanc. Both good hitters. Taking the lead off second. Anderson swings, hits it right side, moving over to the right fielder. He dives and he can't make the play, so it'll fall in foul territory. Everybody will go back to the way they were, count 1-1. The right fielder, Drayden Sloat, with a great effort, but he could not complete that catch.
So Anderson gets a second life here, and he has yet to reach base safely tonight, but he's been effective with his 2 plate appearances, moving runners along, sacrificing a runner in the second and then in the fourth as well. But this is the biggest at bat of the ball game right now for the Baycats, with a runner in scoring position and 2 out in the 6th.
Count 1-1. Infielders playing traditionally, no longer in double play depth, for they can't get the traditional double play. Runner on second, nobody on first. Pitch just hits the strike zone, 1-2. Outfield shaded to the right. Conditions right above the ballpark, dark, but no weather. No big wind, no rain, at least yet. The occasional soft bit of wind, but nothing that would affect the field play. Count 1-2. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Runner on second. Make it 2-2. Burns, the runner on second. We mentioned it earlier, not tremendous speed, but not bad speed either.
This will be the 100th pitch of the night for Stephen Gay, 58 strikes.
He has done a great job for the Panthers today. Exactly what they would have hoped for. Runner going to third. That's strike 3, and that'll end the inning. So Burns was going, but James Anderson frozen on strike 3, and that's how the 6th inning ends. You're watching Baycats TV. Panthers 2, Baycats 2. Back in a moment.
For Barrie 6, no runs on 1 hit. There's 1 error, 1 runner left on base. Inning number 7, sponsored by Vintage Throne Barber Lounge. Experience the tradition of quality service in a relaxed environment. Redefining gentlemen in the heart of Barrie. Vintage Throne Barber Lounge.
Welcome back to Baycats TV. The 7th inning is sponsored by Vintage Throne Barber Lounge. Experience the tradition of quality service in a relaxed environment. Redefining gentlemen in the heart of Barrie. Patrick Melbourne here with you. Ben Davy too, and in just a moment the play will get back underway and we'll give it back to the voice of the Barrie Baycats, Ben Davy.
Thank you, Patrick, and it's game number 30, home game 15 for the Baycats. Playoffs start after tonight. Kitchener with 1 game left in London tomorrow. Both of these clubs want to get this game finished tonight. There's nothing worse than having the first round of the playoffs delayed because you got to finish off a suspended game. And this game tied at 2 here in the 7th inning. If someone doesn't take the lead at some point with some active weather coming up, expected in the next little while. If the game was tied at that point, we'd have to come back here and finish it off at some juncture to complete the season.
And that'll change all the pitching schedules too. We were talking about that a little bit between the innings, between you and me.
Well, it might mean game 1 would start on Thursday or Friday, depending on when they would get this one finished. It wouldn't be tomorrow, of course. Kitchener has to play London, so it would be Monday at the earliest or Tuesday that they would finish off the suspended game. And perhaps that would mean Juan Benitez could be your game 1 starter. It's a bit of a slower start.
All depends how it goes down. Just taking a look here, Ben, at what's happening in the other game as we standings watch.
Two balls and a strike to Sherman. Sherman 1 for 1 tonight. He's reached base both times. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Majors currently lead the Jackfish 4-3. So the Jackfish, if they were to drop that game, would drop to 14 and 15 heading into their game tomorrow.
Foul ball. Over for it is Anderson. No play. It's out of his reach, and the count will hold at 2-2. So that game does mean something to the Jackfish because mathematically they can catch Toronto and they hold the tiebreaker, as we mentioned. The Welland-Toronto tiebreaker goes to the Jackfish. They're 1 game behind the Leafs. Leafs play tomorrow, their last game.
Yeah.
So a Welland win tonight and a Toronto loss tomorrow puts Welland in the number 3 spot. And that would mean Barrie plays the Leafs in round 1 of the playoffs. So that Welland game does mean something this evening. Roller to third for Marcel Lacasse. Throw across in time for the out, 1 away.
And if you're curious on what's happening around the league tomorrow, 3 games, London, Kitchener at 2 p.m. Also at 2 p.m., Brantford and Toronto. And if you wait 5 more minutes, you'll also get Welland and Hamilton. So if you're looking around the league, it's going to be a busy one tomorrow.
The left fielder, number 36, Blake Jacklin.
If Welland loses tonight, that game won't mean anything to Toronto. But obviously for Hamilton and Brantford tied 6-7 at the bottom of the standings, those games are going to mean something no matter what.
And you'd think the Baycats would love to face Toronto, but they're also a tough team. They have the reigning player of the month in the league, Sean Riley, and
yeah, you don't want to
playoffs are different.
You don't want to take either of those teams for granted, but Barrie has had tremendous success against the Leafs this season. All the games have been high-scoring games, and the Baycats have been very comfortable with the Toronto pitchers this year. No one has really been able to solve this Baycat lineup on the Toronto side. At one point, and I don't know what the stat is now, but over 40% of Barrie's run total for the season had come against the Maple Leafs. It's a big percentage of your offense coming against one of your 6 IBL opponents.
But then you flip that and you say, okay, the Baycats did really well against that Welland bullpen and won the game against the pitcher Welland arguably would consider their ace. I haven't looked deep enough at the rest of their rotation, but Jake Belanchich, very good pitcher. Baycats managed to get 3 runs off him and stay in the game. And then 5 runs against their first reliever, Hagadoran, and then a couple more against Boyer Howard.
I know Kitchener would love to finish second, but really it boils down to you're going to play Brantford or Hamilton, and that's going to be determined tomorrow. If Kitchener gets the number 2 spot, you play the bottom team, whoever doesn't come out with the win. I don't know what the head-to-head records are between Hamilton and Brantford, but they're deadlocked at the moment. Juan Benitez with the 3-2 pitch on the way, and it's high, sails way over the glove of Tyler Plumpton. And he's sprinting to first base just in case. Smart move by Blake Jacklin.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he knew it was ball 4. Well, I guess he meant swung at that one, right? But
well, it certainly wasn't going to be a called strike.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he thought you never know. Sometimes you, depending on where that ball
better
ends
safe
up.
than sorry. I guess he ended up swinging at that one a little bit. I missed it. But either way, you want to make sure you get to first, right? No harm in it.
So 1-on-1 out for Andy Leader. Just inside ball 1. Leader 0 for 3 tonight. Leader, Whalen, and Sloat all have yet to reach base for the Panthers. 2 runs, 8 hits for Kitchener. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Baycats.
Great pitch from Juan Benitez right in the middle of the strike zone there. Caught him off guard. He was expecting the off speed, mostly taking all the way, but he got the heat right in the middle of the zone. A lot of zip to it.
Sorry, 2 runs, 5 hits for the Baycats, included that Mike Cicchetto single. High pop up. Might be within our reach.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And it sounds like Halloween below us and to our right. The herd of kids trying to get that $2 foul ball. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when you only got a loonie for those foul balls. With inflation and all.
I think at one point when I was covering the team, you got the autograph, right?
I'll tell you a story here. 2019 championship game, what was it, game 6? I guess Baycats won it in Kitchener.
Yeah.
Brought my kids to the game, and they were so excited about getting foul balls. They just kept buying snacks all night with the money they made, bringing balls back to the ticket booth.
There you go.
And at one point, my daughter comes up to me, foul back to the screen, 1 and 2. My daughter, who was, I guess, 11, came up to me with a nice hot cup of coffee, and she said, "Here, Dad, I got this for you."
Oh.
She didn't have any money, but it was all the foul balls she had picked up.
There you go. Yeah, I remember at one point, I think it was you brought the foul ball back, and you could either get the loonie back or you could get an autographed
Yes,
ball.
a replica ball with an
Yeah.
autograph, yeah. I don't know if they're doing that this season, but
Well, with COVID restrictions, it's a little bit tougher, but
most kids would take the toonie anyways,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Depends on the person, though. I know my brother decided to get the autographed ball. Was very happy with that. Man, it was. I want to say Jonathan Bash was the player who signed that ball.
Yeah, definitely.
2010.
He was an outstanding outfielder for the Baycats here for many years. 1-2. Just missed an account, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big at bat here with Andy Leader at the plate, 1 on, 1 out. 7th inning and a 2-all tie. Well, the great thing about IBL baseball is these players make themselves so accessible to the fans, especially the kids. After the game, these guys stick around and they sign anything put in front of them, for the most part. Swing and a miss. Down goes Leader.
They were very gracious to me as a 12-year-old reporter. I was covering the team when I was very young, and they were
2019? I'm just kidding.
Wow. Is that your revenge for me calling you out on the commentators curse there?
No, not a.
No, of course not.
Not an insult at all.
I was 12 covering the team and all the players, and manager at the time, Angus Roy, very, very gracious to me, helping me out, writing me articles, giving me good quotes, and it was all very successful. Great experience.
Marsden with a swing and a miss, strike 1. You ever come to a game here at Coach Stadium? The Baycats on the first base side, that's where their dugout is. And the kids know that little area between the dugout and the clubhouse, which is just behind us to the right, a good spot to kind of park yourself and meet the players after the game.
Yep.
A lot of them will, you take pictures with them too sometimes, especially after a win.
Yeah, you want to get them after a win. That's any team, though, right?
0-2. Big pitch here coming up from Juan Benitez.
I'm sure they'll be nice after a loss. But
Runner goes, pitches outside, pumped in the throw, the tag, and he is out at second base. Blake Jacklin caught stealing to end the 7th. Let's see how huge that ends up being as Juan Benitez walks off with the Baycats sprinting right behind him.
Brilliant play from behind the plate.
We go to the bottom of the 7th. Tied at 2. You're watching Baycats TV.
ticket. 2-8-8.
Bottom of the 7th inning here at Coates Stadium. It is a 2-2 tie. Final game of the 2021 regular season for the Baycats. Second last game of the year for Kitchener. They play London tomorrow. And Kitchener with a little bit of playoff positioning still to be determined. They could finish second or third. A win tonight clinches second place for them. As for whether or not the suspended game would be completed, Tim Clark mentioning to me between innings, the Baycats had a game in 2018 against the Red Sox that was not completed. It didn't mean anything in the standings, and they did not come back and finish the game. So that would be the case here if this game didn't mean anything, but as of right now, it does for Kitchener.
And we're through 5, right? So
this game ended up tied, and it started raining, and we couldn't complete it. And Kitchener beats London tomorrow. That gives them the number 2 spot. We may not come back here and finish
would
this
it be
one.
an official game? Would you see a tie on the standings board?
I think you would.
Interesting.
Right side and not playable. It's a foul ball. Count as 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jake McDonald. McDonald came in the 4th inning to take over for David LeBlanc. So again, a situation here where Josh Matlow going to his bench early, trying to get some at-bats for his players here in this final game of the season. Right back up the middle, and the shortstop picking that one up. Whalen makes the throw, not in time! It's an infield hit for Jake McDonald to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning.
He has been another one of those players that, as the season's gone on, he's just getting better and better. Scored a run last night as well.
I think if you're the Baycats and this game ended up as a tie with rain, and Kitchener...
We do keep talking about rain. We haven't seen much yet. We saw a couple of drifts, but nothing yet.
Yeah, but it is in the area. We know that. And if Kitchener lost to London tomorrow, and they had to finish off this game to determine where they finish in the standings, but the game meant nothing to the Baycats, that's kind of a, I don't know, that's maybe not the most ideal situation for Barrie. Having to finish off a game that doesn't mean anything to them. They just want to get round 1 going at that point.
Yeah. Hard to disagree with that.
The only thing, and again, as we mentioned already, it might give you a couple of extra days for Juan Benitez to start game 1.
Right.
Because you wouldn't have to use him in the completion of the suspended game, obviously.
You just roll with someone who can give you a bit of length.
Just to finish the game off.
Yeah. Someone like
This one to the backstop. Not sure if that hit Plumpton. I don't think it did. So the at-bat will continue.
Go with someone who can give you innings like Chris Cox or Riley Hoover, and then you don't have to worry about
Yep,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. And then they'd be ready out of the bullpen later on in the series.
Baycats would love to finish it here with a win, get the game in the books, and have Kitchener determine their own fate tomorrow. That's the plan for Barrie tonight. 2-2 tie. Plumpton showing bunt. Got a piece of it. Right back to the mound. Looking at third as Gade makes the throw to first, and it pulls Marsden off the bag. Oh, a costly play by Stephen Gade. He second-guessed himself.
Yeah.
He saw McDonald streaking down to third, thought about making the play there, realized the only shot he had was Plumpton, and he bounced the throw.
And that's why managers just want their fielders to go to first in plays like that. It was that second guessing and look to third that cost him the concentration and the eye line to throw it accurately to first.
Don Menard out to the mound. That's going to be a sacrifice and an error according to our official scorer here tonight, Tim Clark. Thank you, Tim, for the information on that. So E1 to the pitcher.
And it looks like they're going to keep him in the game.
Just a bad defensive play by Gade. I'm sure he wishes he could have had that back, and let's see if that proves costly. This is where Barrie, you want to make him play for that, make him pay for that decision.
And you want to get as much length as you can from these starters, especially late in the season, keep the bullpen fresh for the postseason. So if you can get 7 innings from Stephen Gade, then that's ideal, but he has to complete the 7th to do that. And right now, with nobody out, they might have to go to the pen.
This could be costly for Gade and the Panthers now. We got runners on the corners with nobody out. Really changes the whole inning. This one hits a right field. Back is slow near the track, makes the catch.
He dropped it.
That's going to be an RBI. In the score is McDonald. I don't know how he dropped that ball. Sloat saw it all the way. And you see Sloat crouching over now. I don't know how that got out of his glove.
Avery Tuck hits the ball really, really hard. We've seen it, the exit velo, all season long when he's got everything going. And sometimes when you hit it that hard, the ball gets a spin right off the bat. And when you get that spin, it becomes a much harder ball to catch in the outfield.
Second error of the inning for the Panthers. That is E9. It's a sac fly off the bat of Avery Tuck. And I called that out way earlier than I should have. I thought that was in Sloat's glove. He just couldn't hang on. And I don't even think he can believe what happened out there. As you see him squatting down in right field, just really struggling with that. And a pitching change coming up as Stephen Gade's night comes to an end.
So we'll take the break right here on Baycats TV. When we come back, brand new pitcher for the Kitchener Panthers. You're watching Baycats TV.
Defensive change for the Panthers with the pitch number 12, Jordan Carthy.
Jordan Carthy coming in to pitch for the Kitchener Panthers after the Baycats add one more. Still runners on the corners. Carthy this season has pitched 9 innings. He has struck out 8. He has walked 4, Ben Davy. Pitching to a 10.0 ERA in those 9 innings.
What an inning for the Kitchener Panthers here. 3 errors. It started with a throwing error by the pitcher, Stephen Gade, on a ball that he should have been able to get the out at first base. It put runners on the corners. And then Avery Tuck with a deep fly ball to right field. Drayden Sloat had it in his glove and dropped it. Could not hang on. And 2 errors on the play as well as Tyler Plumpton advanced to third. So it's a sacrifice fly for Tuck. He does get the RBI and 2 errors. Both charged to Drayden Sloat. So 5 errors in this game for the Panthers. Runner goes, and going to second without a throw is Avery Tuck.
Yeah, they weren't super concerned about that, but Avery Tuck's got a lot of speed, and now the double play is no longer on the table, at least traditionally, so it's a big 90 feet.
Still nobody out in this inning. Pitch from Carthy. Outside, corner a strike, 1-1. Royce Ando tonight reached on a fielder's choice and scored, and a couple of groundouts as well. The Baycats up 3-2. And they could add to that with 1 swing of the bat here. Pitch to Ando. Swing and a miss. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Jordan Carthy with strikeout.
Sometimes the ball looks like it jumps off the hand, doesn't it?
Ando 0 for 4 tonight.
Really nice pitch from Carthy.
Center fielder number 15, Jake Wilson.
It's the point in the season where these teams are going with their bullpen guys that might not have had the most success over the season, but they want to get them ready for the playoffs. So they're being brought in for one final regular season chance. We saw it yesterday in Welland with a couple of guys with higher ERAs against Barrie in similar spots. Now we're seeing it here. Jordan Carthy, not the numbers that jump off the page at you, but if they can add one more really good reliever, then they look a whole lot better for the playoffs, and his confidence goes up heading into the postseason after a good outing. So all he has to do is get to that good outing.
High pop-up. Shallow right field. Running in is slow. He takes it for the out. Runners stay put. And there's 2 down. No chance for either Plumpton or Tuck to tag up there. So that is a big out. 2 big outs here for the Panthers. And Mike Cicchetto comes to the plate.
The designated hitter, number 5, Mike Cicchetto.
If you're the Baycats, this is where you really want to make the Panthers pay for the defensive miscues in this inning. So far, Barrie has come away with just 1 run, a big one. But they know they can add to this 3-2 lead here and haven't been able to do so with Ando and Wilson both being retired by Jordan and Carthy.
Big moment here for Cicchetto.
Cicchetto hits it to right center, and a chance for Sloat. He makes the catch, and nice pitching there by Jordan Carthy, who stops the bleeding and gets the Panthers off the field. Barrie only able to score 1 run in an inning that potentially could have been disastrous for the Kitchener Panthers. Instead, it's a 1-run game. Barrie 3, Kitchener 2. We go to the 8th. You're watching Baycats TV.
Inning number 8, sponsored by Barnstormer Brewing Company, the official local beer of your Barrie Baycats. Barnstormer Brewing Company. Defensive change for the Baycats in this pitch, number 12, Brad Greenson. One game underway, and that's now a final played in the IBL tonight. In Welland, the London Majors defeated the Welland Jackfish by a score of 4-3.
I've got stats.
Leading up the 8th for the Panthers, the first baseman number 34, Keegan Marsden.
We go to the top of the 8th inning here at Coates Stadium in Springwater Township. It's a 3-2 Baycat lead over the Kitchener Panthers. Our 8th inning is brought to you by Barnstormer Brewing Company, the official local beer of the Barrie Baycats.
Brad Gravison on to pitch for those Baycats. Gravison has thrown 41 in the 3rd innings this year, 3-2, with a 3.48 ERA. Has 33 strikeouts, that's really good. Has 2 walks, that's tremendous.
One fly ball for Tuck, and there's 1 out. So Juan Benitez's night has come to an end.
The designated hitter number 14, Riley Davenport.
Riley Davenport 1 for 3 tonight, singled and scored in the 4th inning. High pop-up foul and out of play.
3rd outing in 3 days for Brad Gravison. He pitched in Friday's game in the 9th and came in to Saturday's game as well. Also as the final pitcher. Pitched an inning yesterday, gave up a hit, a run. It was earned. It was a home run. It was a home run to Griffin Keller, the Welland leadoff man.
This one hit to right field. Avery Tuck again. Reaches up, makes the grab, 2 away. 2 quick outs for Brad Gravison and the Baycats in the 8th. We have a final on the out-of-town scoreboard. London held on for a 4-3 win over the Welland Jackfish tonight at Welland Stadium.
Stephen Whalen.
That doesn't really impact the standings at all. It strokes a game off the schedule for the Welland Jackfish, who are trying to catch the Maple Leafs for that number 3 spot, and they can still do so. As mentioned, they hold the tiebreaker 3-2 over the Leafs.
London now 21-8. What a season they've had in the regular season. They can make it 22-8 if they win tomorrow.
One more to go, and that's against these Kitchener Panthers. Baycats with a run in the bottom of the 7th inning to take a 3-2 lead tonight here at Coates Stadium, in an inning that I would say, Patrick, the Panthers were very lucky to keep that to just a 1-run inning.
Oh, without question.
High hopper for Endo. Play over the first in time for the out, and a 3-up, 3-down inning for Brad Grieveson and the Baycats. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Barrie still up 3-2. You're watching Baycats TV.
For Kitchener in the 8th, no runs, no hits, no errors, no runners left on base. Then the next home game for your Baycats will be playoff action, scheduled to start early next week against a yet-to-be-determined opponent. Stay in touch with your favorite media source for a soon-to-be-released schedule. Round number 1 will be a best-of-3. Baycats are guaranteed 1 home game. You can get your tickets at barriebaycats.com for a price of $10.
Bottom of the 8th, the Coates Stadium, a 3-2 Baycats lead.
For the Baycats, the third baseman, number 13, Marcel Lacasse.
Marcel Lacasse, Carson Burns, James Anderson all due up for Barrie, looking to add to a 1-run lead here in the 8th inning. Barrie scoring 1 run in the bottom of the 7th. Starter Stephen Gade. Jordan Carthy came in and got 3 straight quick outs to put out the fire. And if the Panthers can come back and win tonight, that will be part of the story of this ballgame, no question about it. Kitchener making 3 errors in that bottom of the 7th inning, 2 of them by right fielder Drayden Sloat, and the Baycats could only manage 1 run. And Carthy gets the credit for that.
I often think errors are just a little bit overrated when it comes to telling game stories, especially early on, but in this case, I think you're right. I think they'll be important no matter which way this game goes.
Stephen Gade made one of those errors himself. This one hit hard. First base. Gets past Marsden. Here's the throw over. And it's in time for the out. What a play. Great job by Carthy to get over there and cover. Wow.
Hit hard off the bat. Everybody played as well as they could have. Good job to cover the base. And that's a frustrating one as a hitter because it keeps so close. And Lacasse has had some tough times at the plate lately. He'll get back into a rhythm, it's just getting there.
Burns comes to the plate. He's reached base all 3 times, one of those on a fielder's choice. So Carthy with some great pitching and some great defense as well. Quick as a cat getting off that mound. And there's 1 out for the Baycats here in the 8th inning. Burns hits this one to second. Sherman makes the play. In time, 2 down.
Much more routine.
Carthy has retired 5 in a row.
The first baseman, number 34, James Anderson.
James Anderson now.
Sure hasn't been that easy to get Carson Burns out over the last couple of days, so Good job on the mound. Jordan Carthy's looked good.
Kitchener native, 23 years young. It's his first season in the IBL with the Panthers. Pitched an inning and 2/3 of relief on Thursday against Hamilton in that 3-2 win. He's been lights out so far here tonight. Swinging a miss. 1-2. 5th game of the season for Jordan. Sorry, 8th game of the season. He's been used offensively as well. He has 9 at-bats.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of these teams in a pinch use the starters who can hit in the lineup.
This one hit to right field. Slowed over, makes no mistake on that one. And how about Jordan Carthy? He's retired 6 in a row, keeping the Panthers right in this one. We go to the top of the 9th. Due up, Parsons, Mahoney, and Sloat for the Panthers. Barrie leading 3-2.
No runners left on base. Number 9, sponsored by Barnstormer Brewing Company, the official local beer of the Barrie Baycats. Barnstormer Brewing Company.
Ninth inning here at Coates Stadium. The Baycats 3 outs away from ending the 2021 regular season with a win. They're up 3-2 on the Kitchener Panthers. Ninth inning brought to you by Barnstormer Brewing Company, the official local beer of the Barrie Baycats. And it's Nick Parsons, the third baseman, up to lead it off for the Panthers against Baycat reliever Brad Grieveson.
Parsons has looked pretty good at the plate today.
Strike one to start off the at-bat against Parsons. Grieveson is in line for his second save of the season and just the Baycats' second save for the entire bullpen this year. They've not had many save situations. Grieveson has the lone save. Now this one hit to left field. And the catch is made by Jake McDonald. McDonald came on in relief of David LeBlanc earlier tonight.
McDonald, a really good left fielder, also a really good catcher. How many players are so good defensively that they can be good at two positions as different as catcher and left field?
You know, I mentioned that the Baycats have not had many. This would be only the second save of the season for the Baycat pitching staff. The one save that they did have, do you know what game it was?
What?
It was the 2019 win in Toronto. Brad Grieveson came on, closed the door, pitched an inning and a third. And we all remember how that game went. That near disaster for the Baycats. Just incredible. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch from Grieveson to second. Should be an easy play. Ando to first. 2 down in the inning.
Great applause for it. And Ben, you know, we're 1 out away from playing this game with no rain in sight.
Yeah.
Number 77, Drayden Close.
It's been a great game tonight. It's at a good pace. We're approaching the 2.5-hour mark. Barrie Baycats 1 out away from ending 2021, the regular season, with a victory here at home. Here's the pitch. Off speed and a swing and a miss by Sloat. Sloat tonight 0 for 3. Brad Grieveson, the Baycat reliever and pitching coach. With the pitch, just missed on that offering.
Most valuable pitching coach, I think, has been locked up for Brad Grieveson this season. My goodness.
40-year-old Creemore native on the ground, should be the ball game. Anderson steps on the bag, and that will do it. A 3-2 Baycat win on a run in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 2021 regular season for Josh Matlow and the Baycats ends with a W here at Coach Stadium.
What a win that is. It's so important to get that victory to finish off regular season. And it's 2 in a row. They won on the road last time out, winning at home, massive this time out. And now heading into the playoffs, they can build even more momentum. It's a best 2 of 3 series. So all you need to do is replicate what you've done the last 2 days against the teams that you've beaten. You beat Welland last time out, if it is indeed the Jackfish, and you've beaten Toronto for the most part all season long. So Baycats will be thinking, bring it on.
So the 2021 regular season ends with a W, and the Baycats falling just short of the 500 mark. They will finish the season with 14 wins and 16 losses and take that into a first-round playoff series, which will open on the road against either the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Welland Jackfish, depending on what happens tomorrow with those two teams as they close out their regular season. Our final score tonight, Baycats 3, Panthers 2. We'll see you in the playoffs. For Patrick Melbourne, I'm Ben Davy. Good night from Coates Stadium in Springwater.